In just a few days, the Newman government will hand down its second budget, with some details already released. Today, the state confirmed Queenslanders will be hit with a 22.5% surge in power prices. And fears are growing that there'll be more cuts to the public service. As unions brace for predicted job losses, social welfare groups are calling for more help for those struggling to put food on the table, let alone keep the lights on. Maria Hatsakis reports.
William Gigi is a single dad who, like other parents, wants the best for his son, William Jr.
Like any little activities or events they got going at school, I have to put whatever I'm trying to save. I don't want my son or my child to miss out on those opportunities.
But he says it's a constant battle to live within his budget. He's managing on around $450 a fortnight from Centrelink while he looks for a job.
It's very difficult and it's hard, and I'm really trying to show my son on top of it, don't let it get you down. You just try and figure out a way or another avenue or look at your other options.
Next week, the Newman government will release its second budget, and William Gigi will find it even harder to make ends meet.
This year is the second bad year budget.
I believe this will be a very brutal budget.
This week, Treasurer Tim Nicholls gave Queenslanders a preview.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, revenue in Queensland has taken a substantial hit.
A $6 billion hit, according to the Treasurer.
For the budget, we've had to make some tough decisions in relation to some revenue measures and some relief and assistance.
A proposed flood levy won't go ahead, but stamp duty on some insurance premiums will rise. There'll be an increase in the urban fire levy and rural residents will also pay. Businesses will miss out on an increase in the payroll tax threshold, and today the government confirmed a 22.5% hike in power prices, having earlier shelved a promised electricity rebate.
We had, I think, agonised over a range of options in relation to any assistance we could provide. Ultimately, though, the cost of it was such that the budget wouldn't be able to take the strain.
William Gigi is certain his budget won't take the strain either.
I'm just struggling to get by week or fortnight by fortnight, let alone with that extra bill coming in on top of it. And the electricity rates how it is at the moment is just ridiculous.
The Queensland Council of Social Service says about a third of the state's residents are struggling with cost of living pressures.
People are finding it harder and harder to pay bills on time, and the messages that we're getting very clear across the community services sector is that people are struggling to actually decide how best to spend their money.
CEO Mark Henley is urging the government to do more to prevent a deepening cycle of poverty and disadvantage. He says financial counselling services must be expanded and wants more funding to put into early intervention programs.
What we're seeing now is generations, intergenerational poverty, and it needs to be addressed. We need to make sure that people are better supported, and they can be better supported before they actually fall into crisis.
It'd be good if we had.
But addressing the problem now could be difficult. Political analyst Scott Prasser says the government's focused on restoring the state's finances.
This is a crucial year for the Newman government. They've got come time yet to the election, so this is the crunch time. They're going to have to bring another hard budget, and maybe even harder than last year's. They want to get back to a AAA rating for their finances. They want to restore Queensland's budget to a surplus, and that means hard decisions are going to have to be made.
Large-scale cuts to the public service last year prompted union outrage.
Campbell Newman promised public servants had nothing to fear from...
14,000 public servant positions were cut in the last state budget. Now unions fear there could still be more to come.
Our members are feeling very concerned and stressed right now. I've never seen morale so bad.
Well, we think this year's attack is going to be far broader than last year's. Last year's was an attack on the workforce. We saw thousands of jobs being cut. This year it's an attack on the services.
There are predictions thousands of jobs could go.
We could be looking at 5,000 to 10,000 more public service cuts, if not more, because I can't see, if you want to get it back into the black, and you've got a declining revenue base, as we have got to some extent in Queensland and across the states, you're going to have to cut something. What's one of the big spending items? Well, it's infrastructure and it's public servants. And I think that's what the game's going to be.
The Teachers' Union hopes that doesn't happen. It's worried about school land being sold off and is urging the government to employ more teachers.
270 people have been employed above where we were last year, but we actually needed nearly 800 more people to make this system work.
The union is calling on the state government to sign up to the federal government's Gonski education reforms to get more funding to pay for the proposals. But cutting jobs and outsourcing government services isn't worrying everyone.
Queensland businesses would benefit significantly through outsourcing or contestability. We know that Queensland businesses offer better service. We know that businesses offer better bang for your buck, and we have the benefit to deliver government services, and it will generate jobs in the private sector.
Business has other concerns. It's warning the government that traders can't handle any more tax rises.
It can't cut and cut and cut its way back into surplus and pay down debt. Inevitably, it will have to start growing the Queensland economy.
But William Gigi is worried the budget won't deliver enough to help him afford to care for his son.
Actually loosen the rope around our neck, where we're not living day by day, week by week.